Greetings, Viraku is leaving this voice message for you, viewer. The channel has been taking an intentional backseat. Me focusing on my second channel, my mental health taking a nosedive, and just general incompetence from my own part. There have been many reasons for what has happened, but one of the reasons why I have taken a noticeable backseat in the last 3 years is trying to focus on how to make better content for myself, but also for my viewers. And so now that I'm an adult and know more techniques of storytelling and so on, I want to do better. And one of the things that I did the last years, really look at the devlog landscape every now and then and see how it has progressed. Over the last few years there have been two main types of devlogs. The first of them is timelines, which I'll get into, and secondly, meme videos. I mentioned them specifically as meme videos and not specifically as devlogs because there's a clear focus on trying to make the viewer stay through comedy, even if that comedy is 3 years out of date now. Obviously, everyone who is inspired by their style really liked Danny, and since Danny hasn't really given them any new inspiration, they just kind of copy him. By timeline, I mean a literal timeline of what has happened with your game. So you start at the beginning of when you started taking notes for the devlog and work your way through the end. But I knew that I didn't want to make that because it's boring. Apart from a few exceptions, like there's not many people who can really leverage this idea. They focus much more on the timeline than what happens on that timeline. But the problem is when you try to break out of the scene and try to make your own thing, it's significantly harder. I have to plan ahead of what I want to do, and so that's a thing that I struggled with for the past 2 years. And at the same time, my mental health took a complete nosedive, especially in the beginning of 2024. But I still had these thoughts of, is there a better way? Is there a way to have a style that is also easier to make, that doesn't have the disadvantages of a typical devlog, not being really interesting to anyone past the first episode? I coined this the devlog 0/1 dilemma, since many of the devlogs that you've really only seen the first or 0th devlog for. It's something that happened to my channel, it's something that happened to many other channels that I followed. The first few devlogs really get pushed because it's something new and it's something interesting. But once people start to actually follow along, the videos don't get recommended to them. The algorithm thinks that what people want is that sense of something new. So how do you keep people engaged past that first episode? That is one of the main things that has kept me away from publishing on this channel. Looking at whether there's a better way to make devlogs, to not fall into a simple timeline style or to fall into a simple meme style. And so hopefully in my upcoming videos where I either make a devlog in which I show how optical illusions have helped me to make my game, or a retrospective on my entry for the GMTK Jam, which there's a video about, which is the last video I posted. In either of those videos you'll see what I mean with trying to do something different. I believe I do have at least some sort of an idea of how to implement better storytelling and more appropriate storytelling. It requires a different type of storytelling for it to be engaging in ways that other videos can't. And speaking of those devlogs, who am I to really be talking about making a new type of devlog?